Okay, I am back, and we're going to talk about the different types of loot in Dungeon Crusade. So, as I said, there's 193 pieces of unique gear. And starting at the very bottom, this might be something kind of different you've never seen before, but I wanted to do something innovative and different. And I think you're going to have a good time with this stuff. There's junk loot. At the very bottom of the totem pole of loot, there's junk loot, and it's simply junk. Case in point, helmet and skull. So imagine something. Say you're playing and you kill like a level 3 champion elite. Took a lot of damage, and you win a loot roll because there's that's how you see if a monster has what's carrying any loot. So you do a loot roll, you win. You go over David Shear. We showed that I think on the Christmas video, which I hope you guys liked. So you go over to the loot deck and okay, you just killed this monster. What kind of loot was it carrying? And you flip it over and it's a helmet and a skull. And you see at the bottom junk loot. And the flavor text I wrote, what a great helmet. But the skull is fused within the helmet and won't budge. It's total junk. And that's really what it is. It's just kind of, you're not guaranteed to find awesome stuff on monsters. You could get something like that. Something else here. You guys know about the House of Chance, and there's a card game called Skulljack. Same case. Say you killed a monster, you could find old playing cards, and it's junk loot. These stained and damaged cards are believed to be from the House of Chance for the game Skulljack, and Sean, I think, painted that one there, and that one you just saw. So there's not a lot. I mean, there's a decent amount. There's 20 pieces of junk loot that's mixed into the deck. So this is just a thing that I wanted to be honest. When you're out in Avalon, whether you're playing the Avalon Adventure board game, because you can acquire all of this loot while you're playing the Avalon Adventure board game, or you find it in the dungeons or the crypts, you're never guaranteed to get like a legendary piece of gear. You could always, find junk. I mean, who wants a rancid apple, right? Kez, I think, did this one. The maggots that call this home don't seem to mind the taste nor smell. There we go, a rancid apple. And I'll leave that loot. I'll let you discover the rest of it. So moving up from that is the hero's starting gear. And that's a gray level. Okay, so now we're getting into the colors here. And so gray level is the hero's starting gear. And I think I showed you some of that. I'm going to move that so you get a new view of some more loot here, so you don't keep looking at the same stuff. For instance, this is one that we haven't shown yet. This is, Freddie did this one. This is for the hero. What that is it? There's something on it right there. Fix that up. This is all prototype stuff. Remember, what you're seeing here, this is just printed in-house at the print shop to show you, but of course that won't be there. This is just something that happened I didn't catch, so I apologize. But this is Bandit Blade, and we have the Bard hero, Matari, and the flavor text for this is a gift to Matari from her sister before she left home. So this is a gray item, starting weapon, 1 damage, and you get no bonuses. Starting weapons are just, it does 1 damage, that's it. There's no enchantments, there's nothing. And of course I showed you another one that Freddie did was the Primordial Axe. So your gray weapons, is starting gear. There's no gold cost. You see there's no gold. And it'll say on the hero card what weapon goes with who. Okay? So moving up now is the white, uncommon. And this stuff can be purchased in the village or, of course, found within the dungeon. And something like this, here's Rusty Dagger. And this sells for 200 gold. But you see it does 1 damage, but it does 2. You can add +2 to your mythical warfare rolls. And this is one of my funny flavor texts. The infection from the rust might do more damage. So letting you know that it's a white item, it's okay, but it's not great. But for 200 gold, say that you have your knight, and he's got his worn longsword, which I think I have right. Here we go. So say you have your knight, Sir Brennus, and he's equipped with the worn longsword. So say you're in the dungeon and you get some gold, you can send Albus, the party's fetch hound, back to the village. This might be in the blacksmith shop for sale, you know, and Albus, they'll take the $200 gold from Albus, come back, and then your knight can dual wield the rusty dagger and the worn longsword. That way he can attack in, you know, 2 phases of combat, not just one. So that's what, you know, white gear is, and that's tier 1. There's, you know, it's all tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and we touched on that in the Christmas video. If you have not seen that Christmas video yet, I would go check that out and come back to this one. I meant to say that at the start. That has a lot of good information, and it's like 1 hour and 37 minutes long. It's wall-to-wall Dungeon Crusade. So remember, you can always dual wield, and so there's some white gear for you. The next, trying to keep all the loot straight. I hate having it all discombobbled. The next one up is green. We'll move you over here. So green is uncommon. It's going to get a little more powerful. This is when your heroes obtain level 2, and then they can wield tier 2, which is uncommon, and blue is rare. So that's your tier 2 gear. And this here is Outlaw Blade. But notice, like on your starting weapon, you can only deal 1 damage. Well, when you become level 2, tier 2 unlocks, and now you can deal 2 damage with weapons. And this has a +2 enchantment to mythical warfare rolls. And this one is, this dagger has been banned in many villages of Avalon. So there's that. And here's another one, Witherbrook Bow. And I think Kez did this one. That's really, I'm trying to remember. I know Sean did this. And I've gotten to know their art styles because when I was putting on all the art on the cards, because I put all this stuff together, let me tell you, this took a while. I got to know Kez's style and Sean's art style, and that's an awesome bow. So, and this bow, it says down here, it's a well-crafted bow from the village of Witherbrook. So again, just like a nice little lore, you know, to give you more, you know, make it more immersive for you with the game. So again, 2 damage. So let's move up to, so that's green, that's uncommon, and now we're going to move up to the blue. And here's some blue right here. And let's look at some rings. We haven't looked at any of the rings yet. Okay, so here's blue. Again, tier 2, and this sells for 500. And I'm sorry, what was that bow? Bow was 400 gold. Let me stop there too. I went to great extremes to balance all this loot, to make sure it was nice quality stuff as you progress, and it was balanced, and the prices really fit accordingly to the game. You know, the only stuff that's really expensive is fabled gear, and we're going to get to that. That's the last, one of the last tier. So we're moving up to blue now, which is rare, and this is a ring of Mistveil, and this is a really good ring because it's 500 gold, but it gives you a +3 to arcane warfare rolls. So like your warlock, your battle mage, wizard, this would be very good for them. Or someone like your barbarian who's weak in arcane, this would be a good ring to give him because if he ever does have to fight a monster with that, he's going to be better prepared. Remember, in Dungeon Crusade, your heroes aren't superheroes, and I made it like that. You truly have to work together as a team to overcome these monsters. So you may want to put this on a barbarian to make him better at arcane warfare. There's so many ways too. I want to say this now because I'll forget. There's so many ways to build and spec out your heroes in Dungeon Crusade. So hopefully you're seeing that. And before we go here, move up to the next tier, 600 gold, Sword of the Fallen. Notice that there's a round thing here. That's a socket. And that's the next thing you're going to see. That's the next video. We're going to be talking about the power gems. You can mine and craft in Dungeon Crusade. You mine in the dungeon, take them back to the blacksmith, and he makes power gems. You can plug it in there, and it'll give you different bonuses to this. So that's something to look out for.